Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Andy Marchke with Moxie, and I appreciate everyone taking the time this morning to join us for our best practices session on live chat. Just a reminder to everyone that the session is being recorded. If you have any questions, you can certainly use the WebEx chat to post those while we're in the session today. So today's focus is on chat tips and tricks. This is installment 4 of the Moxie webinar series, and again, thanks everyone for taking the time. So today, we're really going to be focused, as mentioned, on live chat. Some of the tips and tricks that we'll talk about. We're going to talk a little bit and focus on the customer experience. How can we improve that, optimize that for all of our mobile optimized websites today? How can we improve the agent experience? What types of things can we do to make their life a little bit easier, to help them push content, handle multiple interactions concurrently? And then finally, how can our customers provide us feedback to optimize this, to close the loop through the use of post-interaction surveys? So to kick it off today, we're going to talk about the fact that the world is going mobile. That's a theme you're going to hear a lot today. When I say mobile, it does include tablets, it includes mobile phones, it includes smaller, more portable laptops. As our websites continue to evolve and be more optimized for mobile, we need to make sure that our chat solution that's on the website can service those mobile customers. Some statistics that are out there today: over 1 billion people own a smartphone today. Think about that number. That's a lot of people. And while my 1-year-old daughter is not yet one of those, she will likely grow up having no exposure to a desktop computer. She's going to grow up in a mobile world that's optimized to be used on a tablet or a mobile phone. Projections show that sometime in 2017, which is nearly upon us, that number of mobile users, smartphone users, is going to expand to nearly 3 billion users. So that's a lot of people within the market that have access to a device that's always with them, and they do a lot of shopping online, a lot of browsing online. Another stat, too, I just read today on USA Today said that over 1 billion people access Facebook only from a mobile device. So understanding that Facebook has nearly 2 billion users, that's a lot of people that, once again, are only hitting a website from a mobile phone, from a mobile device. So as you look through some of these statistics that are on the slide in front of you, note that online shoppers prefer to engage over chat. They like that mechanism. They can stay engaged in the digital channel. We've seen adoption rates for chat continue to rise over the past 5 years, and we are continuing to expect that number to rise as we look forward. We also know that customers are unlikely to return to a website if they don't have a great customer experience. So providing online chat can help provide that same level of customer service or that same level of sales expertise you would expect that if you walked into a brick-and-mortar store or if you walked into a branch. Customer satisfaction in the digital world often leads to customer loyalty, and of course everyone loves our loyal customers. So what are we going to talk about today? Our first tip is about that modern customer experience. How can Moxie help? So first, we're going to talk today about guiding your customers, about giving different tools from an agent standpoint to help get people to the right place on the site. We'll show some examples of a modern customer chat experience that's optimized for mobile. When I say optimized for mobile, it's not just mobile. Again, we have a lot of desktop and tablet users that are out there today. But as we've seen in some of the previous stats, the world is definitely shifting toward a mobile environment, and we need to be prepared. We want to easily guide customers to the appropriate products and services on the page. If it's a support-related question or a service-related question, giving access to tools. And another goal here is to allow that customer to seamlessly chat in a browser window and browse the website at the same time. If somebody's in a shopping opportunity, we want them to continue to be able to shop online, but also be able to provide them support. And again, as we look at different types of devices, it's very important to be able to do that across desktop, mobile, and of course, your tablets out there. So some of the tips, we'll get into these a little bit more, is looking at a responsive chat client. So no more pop-up windows, getting away from a customer having to manage multiple windows. On a desktop device, that can be an okay experience, but it's easy for that window to get lost in the background. On a mobile device, it's really difficult to handle multiple windows, to tab back and forth between browsers on a mobile device. So we want to provide an optimized experience to keep those users engaged in that digital channel. And we'll talk a bit, too, about the library of canned responses and some tools built into the agent experience We want to, ultimately turn your service agents into sales agents, help man them with the right tools that they can guide customers to a product solution, to an upsell opportunity, or to knowledge content that's already embedded within your website. So digging in here a bit more, chatting from any device. So here's some mock-ups of the various types of engagement opportunities. And Moxie is really focused on that customer experience with some of our latest releases. We know that pop-up windows can be very difficult on a desktop. They can be nearly impossible on a mobile device. So the idea here is embedding chat seamlessly within that customer experience, keeping it in the same window that I am shopping or that I'm browsing in, and allow customers to not have to manage windows. We've seen statistics that help lower abandon and drop rates within chat because that window is always in focus. It's always available from a customer experience. Our solutions do support both the responsive and MDOT websites. So, most sites today have some level of mobile support. And the idea here is that your mobile users can easily toggle back and forth between the chat experience and the website experience. If you look at the screenshot of the mobile device on the right side, there's some transparency built in so that the customer can really know that the website's there. There's easy options to minimize the chat. And we have notifications built in to let the customer know if they're looking at the website for some reason and chat is minimized, that there's some interaction taking place within the chat. So again, the idea that this experience was really evolved with a mobile-first type of mentality. We also all know that mobile e-commerce traffic is increasing. More than a few of our Moxie customers have reported 50% of their web traffic coming in from a mobile device. And it's easy to understand, right? We always have our phone with us. We're always shopping. We're always looking for the next big thing online. So as we dig a bit more into that mobile experience, there's a lot of different areas where agents can help guide customers to content. You'll see the screenshot on the left, so that we're promoting the ability to push pages. It's very difficult to do that if the chat is in a separate window from the browser or the website that you're on. So with the modern experience, agents can actually guide users to content. We can send notifications within chat. The links are saved and embed within the transcript. So if your customers are receiving an email notification after the interaction, they have the ability to go back and refer to that content. But also we can guide them live in the chat. So we'll minimize the chat experience. We'll send them to that new page. And while the customer is browsing, if there are any additional notifications that need to pop up, or if the agent pushes any other text inside the transcript, you'll see the chat messages display. So the idea is create a very simple customer experience and allow users to be able to manage accessing the website and chatting at the same time. So how are we going to do that? From an agent experience, we have a variety of tools to help turn your service agents into sales agents, or help your service and support agents guide users to the right answers on the website. Some of those examples are library of canned pages. So similar to your bookmarks or your favorites in your browsers, agents can have access to a library of content that they can quickly push out to users. We'll dig into this a little bit more too when we get into the next tip and how these are created and managed. But the general idea is we've got quick codes that agents can quickly push content. They can be organized or defined by queue. So if a customer comes in dealing with product A, the library of content can be relevant to product A. If they're asking sales-related questions from a customer experience, we can provide a library of canned responses that are targeted at sales. If they're more of a support-oriented interaction, then certainly we can target that list of questions to be more on the support side of things. The web browser at the bottom of that screen is a very powerful tool. It allows the agents to browse the website while they're engaged in a chat, and then use the push function to help guide that customer. So obviously your websites today, they may have thousands of pages. You have lots and lots of products and services that are out there. You may not be able to have everything baked into a common library of canned responses. However, your agents can use other tools, in this case the web browser, to find the appropriate content and seamlessly push that out to your customer. Again, we've seen recent stats that said 44% of agents in a contact center are not being prompted to identify sales opportunities. And maybe they just don't have the right tools. So giving users access to common pages, giving them the ability to browse and surf for products online that they can push and chat is certainly pretty powerful. And then, of course, from a support scenario, agents can guide customers to knowledge articles, knowledge content using the embedded web browser at the bottom. So that was tip one. As we get into the next is really more around that agent experience. The beginning of that first one was really focused on mobile web, the customer experience. So as we dig into the agent, how can we make them more efficient on a day-in, day-out basis? So the main goal here is to try to make a more efficient agent. We can do that by minimizing typing time, minimizing time searching for information from an agent perspective. So a couple of the tips that we'll walk through here first are, again, aligning content to the incoming queue of a customer. A very generic example, if you've got customers coming in that are asking sales-related questions or support-related questions, we can segment the content libraries that an agent has access to help really make it relevant to the type of interaction. So an agent who's handling a sales-related activity would only see sales-related content. An agent who's handling a support-related activity would only see support-related content. We're also going to look at how we can embed variables in these canned responses to help personalize the message. So by embedding variables, we can do a couple things. We can shave time off of the amount of time within a chat interaction. Think of this, if we can shave just 10 seconds off a single chat session, how much time you're saving over the course of hundreds of interactions per day or week. So we'll talk a little bit about the tools that we can help do to make agents a little more efficient in pushing out content. We can then, lastly, we'll talk about the use of quick codes. So another key element to help agents quickly push out content, less time searching for it. And we know that canned responses are great for onboarding agents. It's also a great tool for agents to handle multiple interactions concurrently. So there's a lot of benefit in setting up these canned library responses to help make your users more efficient. So moving along, as we dig into these a bit more, personalizing the library. So you'll see at the top, similar to what we saw in the canned URLs screen, we have a canned library of phrases and information that the agent can push out. There are options, and we'll dig into the administrative setup side of this in a moment, but the ability to segment that queue of content. So as you think of many of our customers have multiple business units that are onboarded. So it's not just about sales and support. It may be that business unit A only wants to have access to their content as an agent. I would never handle interactions from business unit B. So it's the ability, again, to really limit and control that agents don't need access to every piece of content across the board. I can segment and focus that just on the type of information I need access to. As we look at the second tip of including variables, again, this serves a couple of purposes. Obviously, canned responses can help minimize typing time and time searching for information, but agents also want to help personalize the message. We want the customer to feel like they're actually talking to a real person on the back end. So the example you'll see there below actually includes 3 different variables. It includes an agent name, it includes a session ID, it includes a customer name. So we're acknowledging who we're talking to, and we're giving that customer the, again, that personalized type of feeling. So, you know, a couple tips too on the canned response side. I do recommend getting input from your agents on how to word these canned responses. Those are the people that are in the front lines, if you will. They're the ones that are talking back to forth. Obviously, the adoption of canned responses really requires them to feel comfortable using them. So we'll talk a little bit about how we can get reports on these types of things, but, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, you really want your agents to feel comfortable using the canned responses. So we'll walk through the setup of that here in a few minutes. Creating shortcuts. So I mentioned the word quick code earlier. Quick codes are alphanumeric ways of agents to quickly push out content. They are easily accessible inside the chat window by starting with a \. You'll see in that case I started typing the word greeting, and it gave me a list of 3 different greetings that you may use. So the idea here is that very quickly as you're typing, you get access to quick common responses that can be pushed out. Important too, it will only display content that the agent has access to. So similar to that previous tip, you can limit or control which quick codes are displayed as I'm typing. The naming convention here, we recommend using friendly names, something that the agent can familiarize themselves with. So in this case, again, these are greetings, but the idea that they don't have to contain, you know, cryptic new type of information to type out. These are things that agents can start with maybe a product name or a support type of article and quickly get access to that canned response and pushing it out. And again, just to comment, if we can just simply shave a few seconds off of every chat, there's a lot of return as we look at the number of chats over the course of the day. Obviously, agents can handle more interactions. Your customers are getting quicker response times online, and you can service more of your customers online. So from an administrative setup, pretty straightforward. It's very easy to do that. You'll see some of the example variables up front. The full list of variables is available inside the help guide. It's also in our administrative documentation. But the idea is you can quickly insert things that can help personalize from an agent perspective. So the agent's display name, first name, last name. From a customer experience perspective, you can reiterate the initial question that they asked in chat, their session ID, so they have a copy or a record of the interaction. We can use their name that they typed in that pre-chat survey, can be automatically populated and displayed to them as part of chat. So again, making the customer feel like it's a personalized interaction online, that there's a real person behind that chat window. From a quick code perspective, they support alphanumeric characters, so it means numbers and letters, supports up to 32 characters. So again, these can actually give the agent a sense of what's in the content. They do support friendly names, like the example I gave of the greeting there, so agents can quickly start typing on the fly and efficiently push content into the chat session. On the back end here, too, we do support a variety of reports around canned responses, and this allows you to see which agents are using canned content, which ones are not. You can compare that to chat duration, service levels to help understand is the use of canned responses really becoming efficient. And I think as you get adoption by your agents within the contact center, you will see that overall the use of canned responses will improve response times within chat. So moving on, the ability to segment content. Again, something that's done right from the business administrative tool. You'll notice a folder structure there on the left side, and essentially I would align a folder of content to a chat service line within the tool. So it really helps you limit and organize the content. I can control which agents have access to it. And the idea here is to don't overwhelm your agent with more information than what they need. Certainly as we think of multiple business units or groups all working within a single instance of the application, you can hide content that's unrelated to the type of a session. I think what's also key and important here is that content can be segmented across multiple service lines. So you don't have to create greetings for sales and support. You can create a standard set of greetings that can be used for both business units within an organization. So anyway, that's tip 2 around the agent experience. Moving into tip number 3 is customer feedback. So what is customer feedback and how can we use it? One of the main goals here is we want to understand from your customer what took place in the chat. Are they happy? We would do that through the use of post-chat surveys. So what's a post-chat survey? Immediately following the chat interaction, the customer can receive a series of questions. Surveys help close the loop. They help you understand things like CSAT scores. So are your customers happy at the end of the day? And we're going to talk a little bit about how the portal builder within the admin can be used to help create these surveys. We'll show you some reports that are available so that you can understand feedback at various levels. But ultimately, these surveys are really going to help you as an organization understand the quality of your agent so the customers can provide feedback on the individual interaction. Most importantly, is the issue resolved? Did a customer come in with a problem, and after the chat, do they feel like that's resolved, or do they need more interaction? What's the likelihood that chat helped make an online purchase? That's a great question to ask your customers. Hey, do you feel like chat helped persuade you into buying something online? Of course, would you recommend using chat? Do your customers see it as a useful tool online? And, maybe do they prefer other channels? What's the best way that they like to engage? We've seen a lot of feedback from our customer base that says customers that engage in chat really prefer that over any other channel. So moving into the surveys themselves, the idea here is that these can be targeted surveys. It doesn't have to be a single survey that goes across all of your chat customers. These can be really targeted, again, to stick with the sales versus service scenario. A customer coming in asking a sales-related question may be offered different survey than somebody who had a support issue on the website. The questions are very configurable. We'll talk about the portal builder here in a few moments. The idea is that you can create questions. You can have drop-downs and radio boxes and check boxes and all kinds of things. But you can really personalize these surveys based on the type of interaction. Optimize for mobile. That's been a pretty common theme here today. These are built to work on a mobile device. Your mobile customers, you want to understand, are they getting the great level of service? Was it easy for you to chat online? Did the agent resolve your problem? So, again, very important that all of this works on a mobile device. And immediately following the interaction. So that's important that as soon as the chat's complete, we present the post-interaction survey. Your customers can give you important feedback right while it's fresh inside their mind. So, again, it's the ability for your customers to instantly provide that, yes, it solved my problem, or no, it didn't. Some general tips here around surveys. Keep them short. Don't go off topic. We just want to ask questions that are really focused on the type of interaction. My boss often says, especially on a mobile device, if you have to scroll, you're asking a lot of your customers. So no need to ask 7, 8, 10 questions. 2 to 3, 4 questions can certainly help understand if your issues are resolved. Make it simple questions. Use basic fields, drop-downs, radio buttons, check boxes. We do also support things like open-ended questions, and that's okay. You can ask the customer to provide some comments, some feedback, and those are all available. Also, think about making some fields optional. If a customer doesn't want to answer a certain question, that's okay. Keep in mind this is a voluntary feedback kind of session. We want your customers to feel comfortable providing information and providing answers. And just as a side note, that once the survey is complete, customers do have the ability to start another chat, and we even have options built into the solution that would route back to the same agent if that person is still available. Oftentimes when you get to the survey, if you're asking, hey, do you consider this resolved, and so on, that may spark other questions for customers that want to quickly re-engage in a session. So make it easy for them right after that post-chat survey. So how do we create these? It's really defined from a business-oriented admin tool for managing the surveys. You'll see different types of fields. We can have drop-down boxes, radio buttons, input boxes. What does that equate to? It can be yes and no type of answers. It can be true and false. Did this solve your problem, yes or no? You can allow your customers to rate things on a scale of 1 to 5. How efficient was the agent? Do you consider them good, great, fair, poor? Would you recommend chat to a friend, right? Those can be simple yes and no types of solutions. The style editor allows you really to control the brand, so it's going to match your website just like the chat customer experience. Colors and fonts, has an HTML wrapper around it, and there's a variety of configuration options here that you can control things like the frequency. You don't have to send a survey to every customer that chats. You may do more of a controlled type of survey, capture things at 10% of your customers to chat or 25% of your customers to chat. But the idea is you can really have different surveys. You can focus on certain types of events, certain types of queries, and have those very, very easy to configure from an admin side. You can set up different surveys for queues. So back to our example of sales versus service-oriented questions, the questions that are asked of your customer can be very focused on the type of interaction that they had with the agent. And finally, from an administrative perspective, you do have the ability to preview before you're publishing. So I can actually see what the surveys are going to look like. I can interact with them. So a nice user-friendly administrative perspective for managing them. And actually, one final tip on the admin side is it's a great opportunity to ask the customer for contact information if they don't feel their issue is resolved. So your surveys can say, hey, if you don't feel the issue is resolved, enter in your phone number or enter in an email address, and we'll reach out to you directly. This, again, gives that customer the personalized feeling that, maybe the chat didn't work out, the agent didn't have the right answer, but allow them to have a second opportunity to give some feedback. As an organization, you can capture that feedback and reach back out to your customer to help close the loop and create, again, a satisfied interaction online. So finally brings us to reporting. So survey reporting, we have an easy-to-use report builder. It's the same report builder that you're using for managing all other components of the contact center. That means the ability to generate your agent statistics. But from a survey perspective, we can build and generate reports using group by options such as survey, so you can look at each survey and how they compare. You can compare agent versus agent and the type of feedback that was given, certainly looking at date range or for a particular queue. So the idea here is that you can focus and break down the interactions at the sales level versus the service level and so on. Fundamental tools built in to create these and automate them. I can have them scheduled and automatically distributed via email. I can export this if I want to do some more manipulation inside Excel or I want to go in and review it otherwise. And then some of the example reports that you may look at are positive versus negative ratings. You may want to look at which agents on the team are receiving positive feedback versus negative. That gives you the ability then to go into our chat transcript search tool and actually look at the threads and understand, what can we do better to help improve agent performance. Looking at the team level, are our sales teams getting better feedback scores than our support teams? And again, understanding why, we can look at the transcripts and associate that. What can we do to improve on? So as an organization, how can you make the experience from a customer better? Did it take too long to answer the chat? Was the agent knowledgeable or not knowledgeable enough? Was the level of experience that they had for answering questions all there? And, of course, issue resolution. That's probably the biggest one that surveys can help you as an organization manage. Does the customer consider this closed, or are they likely to try another channel? So do they leave chat, pick up the phone, and then call into the contact center about the same issue? So allow your customers, again, to capture the kind of feedback that they would from a survey. So anyway, that's my last tip here for today. Just as a summary perspective, we covered 3 different focal points. We looked at the customer experience, getting something that's optimized for mobile. The world's going mobile. Let's all jump on board and make sure that our websites are ready. And, of course, from a chat experience, we can handle users on those mobile devices. Improve the agent experience. We saw a bunch of tips to help them quickly respond to content, be more efficient in chat, and, of course, shave seconds off those chat interactions. And then finally, capture your feedback, right? We want your customers to let you know, do we consider it resolved? We want to turn everyone into a happy customer, so really help closing the loop at the end of the day. We do have a couple minutes open to handle any types of questions. You can use the chat tool if you have any questions. Those can quickly be submitted. Here's some contact information as well. Reminder that this session is recorded, so that will be emailed next week. You can contact us through the various channels that are listed there below. And we look forward, obviously, to our next session next Friday, dealing with Moxie in the cloud. So I don't see any questions that have popped into the chat, so I would like to thank everyone for their time today. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, and hope you have a great weekend. Thank you.